All right, Shalom, call on y'all about Shalom Shah. Shalom to the left. Last video, I'm gonna let this play a little bit and pull precepts as it go through. But we have a guy actually showing these images from Russia. It says Russia opens its sellers. It shows 1,400. They say 14,000, but it's really supposed to be 1,400. Picture of Jesus, which his name is Yahushua. And it says Russia's black icons. But the reason why they had that is not because they want to have some coloring book images or whatever. That's how the actual people of the scriptures look. That's why a lot of people read that book and they be like, oh, it was written by a white man or whatever, because when they interpret it or try to interpret it, they're thinking of it as all these characters being Caucasian, which that's far from the truth. Now, right here you got this, say go black to Africa. Now, we not from no fucking Africa, and we not African. But we fled to those different regions. Let me find this real quick. During persecution, like whenever we got invaded, our people go east, so they'll go west, sometimes south, sometimes north. It all depends on what tribe it was and who they were and what the spirit led them. So let me see, get this precept. And I was speaking on this in the previous video. And I wanted to bring this out. I'm glad this popped up too. It popped up right on time. It says in the book of Galatians chapter 4 verse 26, it says, but Jerusalem, which is free, which is mother of us all. So all that motherland stuff, talking about Africa, the motherland and all that, that land wasn't even named that to a certain point in time. You could look that up. Just take my word for it. Look up what happened when that land got invaded by Rome. What happened to the name of it. Like Esau like to do, wherever they go, they change the name. Put their name on it. Call the people by their name. Just like, for instance, that one movie. I can't think of the exact name of it right now. When he was beating a slave, and his name was Kunta Kinte. He would tell him to call himself Toby. So Esau been doing that. There's nothing new. Get some precepts as it go on, like I said. Let's see. This book of Jeremiah, chapter 14, verse 2 says, Judah mourneth, and the gates thereof languish. They are black unto the ground, and the cry of Jerusalem is going up. The reason why the cry of Jerusalem is going up, our people are naturally peaceful. Like, real men want peace. We don't want war. Sometimes our hand get forced, and when we get into situations with Overall, we want peace, tranquility, just, good moments and stuff. That's overall how our people are, because of the conditions that our people be in, the situations that we may encounter. Our people mourn a lot. But the key thing in the scripture right here, it says they are black into the ground. So our people look just like the ground, different shades of the soil. We got different levels of the soils. I want to say the deepest part, it gets real dark. And as you get up a little bit higher, it gets lighter, and then it switches a little bit. Depends on what region of the world you're in. I know down south, it varies. And then you come to the Midwest, it varies too. So overall, our people are the same color as the soil. That's why that precept is in there. When you look at these images right here, that's what they look like. Now, I don't know if Esau gonna take this damn video down. I see they ain't take his down. He got a lot of views on it too, so I just want to share this channel right there too. I'm gonna leave a link in the description box as well too. And see, this is why that precept says, I know the blasphemy that they would say they are Jews and are not. Because them not the people, man. Now you got people mix and mingle amongst them, but overall, them not the people, man. See, and I was just talking. Hold on, let me go back. Right there, see about the angels being black. I was just talking to one of my relatives about that because sometimes people have encounters. Me personally, I've had encounters. And look at this precept right here. Book of Hebrews chapter 13 verse 2 says, be not forgetful to entertain strangers, for thereby some have entertained angels. And sometimes angels will manifest, and when they come, they don't look like the average depiction that Esau like to try to put out. You ever seen them in a vision or whatever? They be real dark. That they manifest physically amongst you and actually walk amongst you. Most of the time they come as real dark-skinned men. And I'm speaking from experience, actually experiencing these events. Other people have told me stories as well. But you'll see them, and they don't normally talk about normal conversations. They always come to you and ask you about the Most High, what He been doing for you lately. But just, just testing you out to see what you on, see what type of time you're on. Like we like to say, checking your temperature. And then they'll vanish. You be looking for them and try to see where they at. They be gone. Let me get this other precept. It's in the book of Ezekiel. Talk about how they look as well. I want to say it's in chapter 2, if I'm not mistaken. It is in chapter 1. No. So give me 1 minute. I want to find this preset, and I'll let the video play some more. That's in book of Ezekiel chapter 1 and verse 7. It says, and their feet were straight feet, and the sole of their feet was like the sole of a calf's foot, and they sparkled like the color of burnished brass. When you look at burnished brass, which in the book of Revelation they talk about how Yahweh's feet look. That's dark, man. That's not no Caucasian looking color, man. No, it's another part I want to get out of this too as well. Let me see. We'll read on some more. Okay, here you go right here. In verse 17 it says, as for the likeness of the living creatures, their appearance was like burning coals of fire. Now if you see a burning coal, it's dark. It's not white. Until it actually burns out and it turns to ash. Now you have some people be ignorant and be like, well, when you burn a coal, it do turn to white ash. No. When the coal is burning, when the flame is actually burning around it, that coal is dark. Now it says, and like the appearance of lamps, it went up and down among the living creatures, and the fire was bright. Now the fire went forth lightning. So what all that white stuff that Esau been coming out with, man, that's a fucking joke, and that's blasphemy too. That just add to the tab they gotta pay for. All the stuff they gotta pay for, they got a big tab. Look at that. See, I remember I was watching another video. It was on, damn, what was it on? It was on one of them like historian type channels or whatever. They were trying to say basically they used the dark paint so it won't fade or nothing. But when you look, man, come on. When you look at the outside colors and all the other stuff, they use other colors as well too. That was just some bullshit they tried to slide in there. They were just using no dark paint so it won't fade. You actually have images, like at the beginning of the video, when he was wearing white. That ain't fade. So you mean to tell me they just wanted to paint his clothes white, but his body black though? Well, it makes sense, but that's Esau for you though. Now see, that ain't the case. So I can give me 1 minute. That ain't the case. It's just a lot of people over here in the U.S. don't know that shit. If you go cross seas, you ever been cross seas, which I encourage some of you out can. You have some fun or whatever. You get a chance to travel a little bit for a short period of time. Go cross seas. Man, people treat you totally different because they know who's who. Especially when you go to the islands and other different tropical regions or whatever. Germany. Definitely over close to like Asia and stuff like that, whether it be Thailand or Malaysia in certain areas. These people, they know, man. They know where we come from. That's why they treat us. They damn near be want to worship us because they know that we the descendants of those worthy to be worshipped. We supposed to be like an example. We're supposed to carry ourselves a certain way. So when people get around us, they just know, like, yeah, let me get that precept. They just know it's something different. And people say that a lot. I'm sure you Akim done been places and encounter people and they just like, it's something different about you. It's in the book of 1 Peter chapter 2, verse 9. It says, but ye are a chosen generation, a royal priesthood, and a holy nation, a peculiar people, that ye should show forth the praises of him who have called you out of darkness into his marvelous light. And our people, for some strange reason, have an issue with being royal and chosen and peculiar. They want all these different nations and all these different people to try to, put us down, have a hand in keeping us from knowing who we are or whatever. Because they know these other nations, they ain't really try to help out and be like, you know what, let's get them up out of there. Let's bring them over here and let them do what they're supposed to be doing. Them knowing they still utilize that against us type shit. So it's like, even if you do go across seas, they'll treat you a certain way. But when you over here, though, they don't really want you to know too much. It's like a double-edged sword. But now people have an issue with being on top, man. Like, that shit crazy to me. I was watching this one video, and it's a so-called scholar, which he knew some stuff, so I take that back. I can't call him a so-called scholar. He's a scholar according to a worldly standpoint, I should say. And he was basically speaking against how people feeling like they chosen or whatever, when it clearly shows in the evidence. Even in scientific research, you do your homework on that stuff. When these people get asked for organs, who the main people organs they require? Who the main people they want donating blood? We go to these blood banks and stuff. I remember going when I was dating this girl at one time, and she wanted to go draw some blood or whatever. We go in there. It was mainly our people in there. They want our blood for a reason, because they know our blood actually have healing qualities, especially down in Haiti, which that's another story. That's why they be going down there so much. You saw like to go down there and learn about the different arts and all that stuff and go get organs and get blood too as well, because they know what they do. But that's another story. I'll speak on that maybe in another lesson. But our people really have an issue with being peculiar, being chosen, being on top, being separate. They want to include Esau and these heathens in every other thing they do. And the whole time, that's where we come from. And see, once you start seeing the images getting lightened up too, that's when they start doing the iconoclasm. Because I go from real dark, now look how it's getting as you're going through it. Look at that. That whole Renaissance shit, that's when Esau started really doing it. They started switching stuff up. Man, you know it was darker too, you know. I ain't gonna let the rest of this play. I know people's attention span be a little short. I just want to bring this stuff out. But yeah, man, you know the original actual artwork is actually darker now. When they bring it across seas or whenever they try to replicate it, you saw like to play these little whitewashing games and lighten shit up. So that's why they look a little bit lighter. But as you see in the beginning of the video, those are the darker images, man. And it's for truth's sake. It ain't just about just no color thing. People be like, well, mainly Edomites, they be like, well, color don't matter. And then people be saying that dumb shit too. But for truth's sake, if you're reading a book about a character, you want to know the characteristics. You want to know how they actually look, how they talk, whatever the scenario is. You don't want no false characteristics. So look at this precept right here. And so, you see. This is the book of Job, chapter 9, verse 24 says, the earth is given into the hand of the wicked. Who is the wicked? Esau and Esau's descendants. It says he covered the faces of the judges thereof and not where and who is he? Now who do this? Who take images, who take history, artifacts, imagery, pictures, or whatever phrase or term or word you want to use for all this stuff. Who take that stuff and reframe it and put it back out and say it's them? It's only one nationality of people that do that on this earth. So I just want to bring this up. Out of one righteous, out of edifying. Call Allah Yahweh Shalom to the elect.